Well, it's day 24 of President Bola Tinubu's administration, and we're keeping tabs on updates in his first 100 days in office. Thank you for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. You can join the conversation now on Twitter if you use the hashtag first 100 days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG. Let's bring you update on the ongoing Global Finances Summit in France. President Bola Tinubu is expected to address a distinguished panel of speakers at the event taking place in Paris. The summit hosted by France aims to establish a more responsive, just and inclusive financial system. The president's panelist session is scheduled to be ongoing right now all the way to 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And the panel discussion titled Ensuring More Reliable, Comparable Information and Data will be moderated by Sylvie Goulard and Mark Carney, the co-chairs of the Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosures, as well as the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. The president earlier today was received at the venue by the French Minister of Foreign Affairs and Europe, Catherine Colonna. And back here in Nigeria, Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima met with co-chairman of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, the chairman of the Dangote Foundation, Aliko Dangote, and members of the Nigerian Governors Forum. Mr. Gates is visiting Nigeria to meet leaders and partners tackling health and development challenges. State House correspondent Femi Akonde joins me live from Abuja. Femi, Aliko Dangote and Bill Gates are back at the villa, this time meeting with the Vice President and members of the Nigeria Governors Forum. Walk us through the highlights of today's meeting.
Well, the high point of the meeting is Bill Gates committing to set aside $7 million for Africa and indeed for Nigeria to help fight the polio virus, to ensure vaccines are made available, and also ensure that everyone has access to improved health care in the country. So basically, that is what he came to tell the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and Kashim Shettima also committed to ensuring that Nigeria plays its role in improving healthcare financing. It says that the federal government will address concerns. The federal government will address concerns that surround financing primary health care. And he also ensured.
It seems we've lost connection with our State House correspondent, briefing us on what happened earlier today at the presidential villa, particularly the amount of money earmarked for health care via the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. There's been an ongoing conversation. You recall that Bill Gates and Aliko Dangote met earlier with Mr. President at the Aso Rock, and we're looking forward to how all of this will materialize, particularly the commitment of governors in order to be able to collaborate. Femi, how much did you call Bill Gates' commitments again? Femi, how much did you say Bill Gates committed again?
$7 billion to be spent in the next 4 years as his own intervention to improving healthcare financing in Africa and Nigeria. But the Vice President also acknowledged Nigeria's challenges in tackling the polio virus. Of course, Nigeria has recorded some significant success in that regard, but the country is still being threatened because of lack of vaccines and some difficult to reach areas where some children cannot be vaccinated. So he is talking about all of these challenges that the federal government will double its efforts to ensure that everyone is captured in the vaccination program of the federal government, and polio is totally eradicated, because Nigeria is one of the countries that still has some cases of the polio virus. So he's saying that Nigeria will play its part in ensuring that polio is eradicated globally.
$7 billion over the next 4 years for development of more breakthrough innovation in health in Africa. That's a huge amount of money. But talk to us about how well represented the state governors were today and what is their level of commitment, particularly in collaborating with the foundation.
As you know, they are critical stakeholders in ensuring that this partnership between the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Dangote Foundation, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria is fruitful, because they would also play their part in improving primary health care delivery in their state, in improving financing for healthcare in their states. You know, they pledged their commitment to ensuring that they complement all of these efforts, but they are also asking for increased intervention, not just in primary health care, also in the area of education, agriculture, using technology and evidence-based technology, and ensuring that digital solutions are also provided for some of the challenges that the country is facing in these areas of education, healthcare, and agriculture. So they pledged their commitment through the Nigeria Governors Forum, and saying that they would ensure that these funds set aside by the Bill Gates Foundation is used judiciously and for the purpose which it is intended.
Femi, the Kebbi State Governor, Chairman, heads the committee of the National Economic Council tasked with the responsibility of coming up with federal government intervention in the light of the removal of fuel subsidy. How soon do we expect to hear from NEC in this regard?
Well, we believe that, in their next meeting, what we have gathered is that all of this is already in the works. At the previous meeting held by the National Economic Council, they started that plan to roll out palliatives and other interventions that will cushion the effect of removal of petrol subsidy in the country. They have also met with, the federal government now has met with the organized labor. That meeting was on the 19th of June to also begin the framework and the timeline for the implementation of all of this. So we expect in the coming weeks, all of these announcements will be made. We will also begin to share, we will also hear when the federal government intends to begin the implementation of the upward review of worker salaries, when the mass transit scheme will be rolled out for workers to get free buses from their homes to their places of work, when the CNG vehicles, the electric vehicles will be brought into the country and deployed for use to also ensure that it reduces Nigeria's reliance on petrol and also helps the country meet its energy needs, and also ensure that the country contributes towards global cleaner energy. So we expect in the coming days all of these announcements will be made by the federal government. But NEC will first pass its recommendation to President Bola Tinubu for approval, and then all of that will then be made public.
Believe me, Nigerians can't wait to hear of federal government intervention, particularly coming as quickly as the fuel subsidy was removed. State House correspondent Femi Akode live for us in Abuja. We're back after this break with more as we explore the ongoing Paris summit, as well as the commitments they will have on Nigeria. Stay with us.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu do solemnly swear
Now, let's take a look at the focus of the Paris summit. It includes restoring fiscal space to countries that face difficult short-term financial challenges. There's also the need to foster development in low-income countries, encouraging investment in green infrastructure for energy transition, and holistic look at recovery of economies from impact of COVID-19 pandemic. There's the rise in cases of poverty and providing access to finance. Let's talk more about this. Joining me is a global labor and social change advocate, Tunde Doherty, joins us live from the UK. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Nifemi, for having me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here this afternoon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good to see you again. The last time I saw you, I think, was at was in Abuja. Yes, at the during the inauguration. So there's so much buzz about Mr. President's first official trip and the opportunity to network for foreign direct investment. How important would you say this is for Nigeria, especially at this time?
It is a very important summit, especially for Nigeria in this new era of global change. And also, it is part of the president's promise to prosperity Nigeria. Now, if we look at the theme of the summit, which is finding a new path to financing, funding a global financial, which will in itself is aimed at increasing financial solidarity between the state of the South, which is the low-income countries, and the Western world. And in doing all of this, it's a summit that would bring a restoration to fiscal space in times of short times for countries that are faced with short times commitment to loans or to finances in terms of improving their economic process. And in fostering private sector development, you need to have a new financial model to help private sector to galvanize and develop process within the emerging economies. Also, it will encourage investment in the green infrastructure. Like from the analysis, we are talking about going away from the normal kind of energy that the world is used to. We are going greener. That means we have to reduce the content of carbon dioxide within the space. We have to find a way to utilize what we have in terms of the wind, the generating energy from the windmill, generating energy from the solar, renewable energy factor, and all of this. All of this will help to reduce enormous spending on energy. And you know that the impact of energy, the energy crisis in the world today is crazy, because everybody is suffering from it, be it the Western world, be it the third world country, be it the emerging economies. And you know, it's a very great thing for Nigeria, because Nigeria has enormous resources in greener energy, especially in the gas, in our gas. We flare a lot of gas in Nigeria today, and if this is one thing that the president is going to take out from here, looking at ready investment into the greener energy in Nigeria, and looking at exporting our gas into Europe, into countries that are really badly affected by the current war that is ongoing in Ukraine and between Russia and Ukraine. We know what impact that has caused. So there is a new channel for Nigeria to hand wealth that will further prosper Nigeria. And it is another great opportunity for Nigeria to mobilize, to help mobilize finance for innovation, creativity, skills that we need in Nigeria. And therefore, what that will roll out to is one, Nigeria is the hub for business now. You are looking at over 200 million people. You are looking at businesses that will prosper into 2 million hands. You know what that transforms to in terms of foreign direct investment. You know what transforms into when it comes into tax reforms, into tax.
Talking about FDI, Mr. Doherty, the essay to the president on special duties, communication and strategy, Dele Alake, also highlighted the need for networking and the fact that there are even some world leaders who have been meeting the president in that regard. But is there a sense to which the economic body language of the president, you know, I believe you are following and monitoring developments back at home closely, the removal of fuel subsidy, the unification of the exchange rates. Is there a sense that this will inspire a higher level of confidence in the country?
Definitely it will, because it will create a level ground economy participation for would-be investors. Those investors that have find it difficult to thrive within that sector will now come into it. Now you have given opportunity, open a window for small scale industries to be able to get into the big play economy. When I say big play economy, means that you can now begin to talk about go into modulation of processes like the energy process. You can talk about a modular power plant. You can talk about a modular refinery where a little bit of our crude can be converted into local PMS, local AGO, local kerosene, and all of that. So at the end of the day, it will create substantial opportunity for Nigeria. You see, the issue of fuel subsidy has been what it is in Nigeria, and it was a good step and first assignment of the president to have removed that subsidy. Now, yes, it's going to be difficult in the first instance, but at the end of the day, you will see the effect. The effect will bring about prosperity. The effect will bring about opportunities. The effect will even bring about a financial discipline to have to various homes. You see that people that are using vehicles that will gush petrol and all of that will begin to think twice before they go out to drive. So at the end of the day, we see that the price is over 500 now. The price can come down in the short run, because by the time Dangote refinery gets into process, we will see the effect in the local economy, and at the same time we will see the effect in the foreign economy, especially within our geographical neighbors who depend so much on Nigeria oil and even the economy. So the subsidy thing is a very good thing. It's a very good decision in the right direction. So whether we like it or not, we are going to feel the pain. But whether we like it or not, at the end of the day, it's better for the economy. So it will even give us opportunity to spend on infrastructure. Let's take, for example, the president has also assigned to the bill creating the student loan. This is a very great relief for Nigeria. How would that loan be financed? Definitely from whatever overflow that comes back from the subsidy removal.
Indeed.
That is spent on the student loan in itself. You see, the parent will be relieved.
It also means, Mr. Doherty, that we now have to count on government to be able to make good use of all of these monies it's raking back from the people. But let's return to Paris for a bit. The summit is promising a financial pact that will prioritize vulnerable countries and also fight inequality. That's a very ambitious goal. How have previous summits fared in this regard?
You see, as a global labor expert and as a global labor advocate, I participated in a lot of protests against the green gas, against the fuel of green, against a greener world. So I know that definitely those things has been impactful in bringing the world to a standstill to note that yes, whatever the labor or the trade union were fighting for, or the freedom fighter were talking about greener world is something that we have to take. We don't have to take with levity. We have to take it with seriousness. And we are glad that the leadership of the world are looking at it and taking great steps. You see, these days we have electric cars all over here and there. Even in Nigeria, electric car is being launched. So you know the enormity and the reduction in carbon monoxide that's going to be polluting, that is going to become a pollutant. Also, there are a lot of development, the process in place to convert all those waste into renewable energy. For example, all the litters that we have on the road, the plastics, the whatever that has been a clog within the ocean, we will now have an opportunity in terms of research and analysis to convert those things to renewable energy. So whether we like it or not, what the world leaders are trying to do here is to provide funding to accelerate this process.
Exactly my point, Mr. Doherty. Lofty ideas when the world leaders come together, but the big question is, have they been able to match words with action? Because developed countries, as we speak, haven't met the $100 billion pledge they made in 2009 to help poor countries face climate change and the risks that are rising. So it makes some people, take this with a pinch of salt when, world leaders are gathering around the world to talk about how they will help Africa.
Yeah, yes. You see, the thing is this. From 2019 till 2022, the world has suffered from COVID, and we know what that has cost the world. Every part of this world suffered from that. And whatever is happening now is the ripple effect of that pandemic. So the funding that is supposed to be spent on resolving this global green issue were dedicated to solve that immediate pandemic problem. And there's no country, no matter how rich or how high placed they are, how Western they have suffered it. Even as we speak, United Kingdom is suffering from financial difficulties.
I agree with you to the extent that we are in a post-COVID economy, and also on the background of international tension, what's happening in Russia with Ukraine. There's also the worsening U.S.-China relations. But some say Nigeria hasn't quite exploited its role as African giant to, unite the continent along economic lines. The school of thought that Africa might have to look inwards rather than look outside for help.
Yes, you see, Africa, like a lot of the school of thought will say, when somebody like me believe that African problems can only be solved by Africa, but definitely we still need the Western technology to be able to, whether we are going to copy it or we are going to reminiscence it or whatever, in whatever shape and form, we must be able to use those things to transform our nation. Look at what has happened in China or what has happened in India. So whatever the solution we have, Africa, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, yes, because the resources are enormous in Nigeria. What is the problem? The problem we've had in Nigeria in all of these years are probably leadership problem. And because we are emerging, our democracy is emerging, whatever situation we find ourselves, now is the time for us to now begin to look at those problems and begin to offer solution into it. We are lucky in Nigeria that we have a president who is well set and ready to take the bull by the horn. Somebody who has passed through all the phases of private sector, the public sector, someone who has been in governance, who has the key to turning around the economy. So we have no doubt, no iota of doubt at all that we have the right person governing, who is now the head of state of Nigeria, who is the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who we believe and we would, with God's good grace, will solve most of this problem. At least we'll give it that leverages that is needed to transform Nigerian economy, which in essence would become a buffer to transform or a prosperous African nation. So you see, the first international assignment that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has engaged himself in is this global economic summit in Paris, which he knows very well that this is one way to be able to leverage funding for Africa, to transform Africa, to bring in and encourage investment in the resources that is enormous in Africa, so that Nigeria will begin to get into that a rightful place as the giant of Africa. Whether we like it or not, this is the time, and the benefit and prosperity for Nigeria is within and has started, and
Indeed.
Definitely we're going to get there.
Trust me, Mr. Doherty, many Nigerians are counting on that, and it's Asiwaju's time now. He has 4 years less than 24 days, because today is day 24, and we're counting on all that he would do differently. Good to see you again, to the Doherty, global labor and social change advocate. He joined us live from the UK.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Let us all work together for this renewed hope. It is real and it's effective. Thank you.
Well, that's our program today. You can watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm back 6 p.m. tomorrow with another exciting edition. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again.